Right when I was started it, I drank some nasty ass boiled milk. Never drink the front gallon. Whenever you're going to buy milk, they always put the most worst one all the way up there at the front. This is not going well for me today.
EPA. The Green New Deal is dead.
I agree.
At the Trump EPA, we know that we can both protect the environment and grow the economy. I have 13 pages of accomplishments from our first 100 days in here, and in it, part of it is 100 environmental accomplishments at the Trump EPA.
That's good.
You have to take my word for it. We released it to the media this morning. Every single day that President Trump is in this office, there will be a major environmental accomplishment. Every single day.
They didn't get a major accomplishment of getting them prices down.
We're also
on
launching
gas.
what is the largest deregulatory action in the
He's into building
history
the
of the
wall.
country.
Put that same energy into
We're going to
building
be
that
giving
Keystone
our director of
pipeline.
the OMB a whole lot of
Oh
work.
no, 349.
Because we inherited a mess from the Biden EPA. And working with Elon and Doge,
Yeah, that was insane.
I've canceled now $22 billion worth of grants. Now today is a special day for many reasons. The biggest reason why we're here is that this is the 100th day of the most consequential, historic first 100 days in the history of this country. Today, while we're here, the House of Representatives is voting on Congressional Review Act bills, considering the EPA waivers that were given to California's tailpipe emissions, where California set their own standards. But there should be one national standard, and right now, Congress on the House side is going to be voting on that today. On a personal note, is a bit outside of the EPA jurisdiction.
Gas car is great again.
Today is my last day serving in the United States Army. And I first signed up towards the end of the 90s. And I've had a chance to see a lot of national security teams over the course of the last 27 years. There has never been a national security team ever assembled that had the backs of our warriors like this national security team right now. And we have never had a president so deeply committed towards ending foreign wars instead of starting new ones. There's a reason, Mr. Vice President, why everyone is racing to join our Department of Defense. We have a Secretary of Defense who, with all due respect to our great president, would probably rather be swimming with Navy SEALs right now, be running somewhere in the Middle East with our service members. And from our Secretary of Defense to our Secretary of State, our Vice President, and more. I just want to say thank you as a veteran of our military for assembling what is the greatest national security team that I have ever seen in my 27 years associated with the United States Army.
Has Pete signed off on his retirement leave?
I gotta adjust the audio.
Cuomo, O'Reilly, Smith, an event in a live town hall space.
Turn left, then turn right onto the ramp.
Program, and so we've closed a lot of the.
That's good. Robert Kennedy's getting rid of all them nasty ass dyes in our food.
Fewer people working a lot more efficiently in the Department of Education. The commissioners of education in every state, and I was at a meeting with them not too long ago for not only our states but our territories. They are thrilled with the opportunity now to be able to have more control over the education in their states, to get rid of a lot of the red tape and regulation that's kept them from doing what they're doing. So we're seeing, I think, great improvements. We'll see test scores, I believe. It'll take a bit for them to be able to go up, but I think now that they're going to have the opportunity to put in their own programs, we'll see that grow. At the same time, we've been focused on higher education. for our universities. We've returned proper enforcement of Title IX protections to schools. We have stopped funding to Columbia, for instance, and some other schools for not only Title IX but Title VI infractions. And those are moving along. I think we've brought people to the table. They know that you're serious. You meant what you said. You're going to make changes. They're making their campuses safer again. Anti-Semitism was just out of control in many of our universities. And so some tried to, in fact, Harvard is sued, and they're saying that it's, First Amendment infraction. No, this is civil rights, safety on our campuses for our young students, who are there. And
that guy's whacked
with
out.
Pam's help and the task force that we formed with HHS, with GSA, with other
talking to himself.
agencies, we're going to make sure that our campuses are safe. And so there's a lot of good work going on. I think one of the biggest things, you'll be very happy, that we are putting back in
Crazy ass motherfucker talking to himself.
that have been delinquent since March of 2020. There's been no effort to recollect on those loans. As of May 5th, the letter goes out that the loan recollection is beginning again. So for those people who have borrowed money and who have not been paid, that's just not to be punitive. There are many ways that they can go online to understand how they can get back into the right payment structure, because when they're in default, they can't buy a house, they can't buy a car because their credit scores are down. So it's helpful to them as well as to get this money back into the country. I mean, with $60 billion of increased student loan debt since
insane.
2020. And in total, we've got almost $1.7 trillion in student debt.
And my background
we're
set up.
going to start getting it back. And Scott and his team have been incredibly helpful. We
go, that's
appreciate
better.
that so very, very much. And so a lot's going on at the department. And what I would really like, as I'm firing myself, I'd like for you to be known as the education president, because of the best in practice systems that we want to put in every state to incorporate AI, so that we are training these new entrepreneurs and business leaders in our country. We can't do it with the infrastructure we have in place today, so we have to be working on that at the same time. So we're going to be doing that. So thank you for your charge to elevate education so that we are providing for every student access to excellent education. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Linda. And what's going on with Harvard and some of these colleges that are taking vast amounts of money, who also have vast amounts? They've got $52 billion and really scamming the public and hiring people like de Blasio and Lori Lightfoot, who are certainly two of the worst mayors in the history of our country, paying them a fortune of salary and having
Yes,
them
they
teach our
was.
children
But
how to
then we
run
got
cities and have
Lori
a
Lightfoot's not
government.
president. I mean, mayor.
What's
We
the
got
word
Brandon Johnson.
as
Let's
of
go,
this
Brandon of
morning, let's say
Chicago.
Harvard?
Well, we're negotiating with them. We went back to them to say we welcome them back to the negotiating table. Their response was a lawsuit. So Pam and her team
What?
are helping work with that. And I am, enjoying the fact not only am I firing myself, but I'm now being sued fairly regularly.
Oh, wow.
Different departments of education, but we're staying tough with them. The other thing that we're looking at also are the 117 violations of these big universities like Harvard and others, who are not reporting as they're required to do by law
He's flying.
foreign money that comes in and how much that is and where it comes from. And so that
Damn,
is
he's
very,
flying.
yeah, it's very serious.
That would have been my chance to get in front of that school
We
bus.
pulled back their grants because Harvard isn't responding to us criminal activity by their students. And until they give us that list, they're not getting any more grants from Homeland
Good, I
Security.
think we should pull it back.
We did.
The students they have, the professors they have, the attitude they have is not American, and
No, it's
I think we
not.
should- A grant is a grant. We don't have to give grants,
Exactly right.
so we'll pull back the grant. Right. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bobby?
Mr. President, thank you for your extraordinary leadership over the past 100 days. We are already making America healthy again. We announced last week the ban on the 9 petroleum-based synthetic dyes, food dyes. Within 2 years,
That's
within
good.
2 months, we're going to ban the worst 2 of them.
Make food healthy
I'm working
again.
with Secretary Rollins on dietary guidelines, the dietary guidelines that the President Biden's administration gave us 453 pages. They're basically unreadable. And they
My
are the
battery's
product
low.
of
If the
same
battery
kind of
dies, I'm gonna
politicized
pause
science
the video, plug in the
that
charger
drove
if it
food
dies.
groups to the top of the food.
So I'll be right back if the battery does happen to
And
die.
we're going to do real science, gold standard science. We're going to develop we have till December to do it. We are working very, very fast together. We're going to get it done by the end of the summer in time to drive change, major dramatic changes in the
Make sure you like, subscribe, share, thumbs up.
Over
That's not done, is it?
next school year. I'm working also with Secretary Rollins on the SNAP program and to get sodas and candy off of the food stamp program. 10% of food stamps go to SNAP. And I want to thank you for your courage.
Why the
You're a
fuck is there a
business-friendly
speed bump
president,
there?
probably the most business-friendly in our history, but you're also willing to stand up to very, very powerful businesses.
Oh,
and
they
you've
made a
shown
nice
that
little
again and again.
botanical garden here.
Secretary Rollins had the soda industry come and knock on her door very much, very loudly, and they said to her, well, the SNAP program is not supposed to be about nutrition. She pointed out to them that there
If the
is no
battery dies,
nutrition
we'll be right
in
back.
soda. And they said, well, it's not supposed to
Trying
be
to get the
about
charger out.
nutrition. And she said to them, the name of the program is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So it is about nutrition. And we should, we have 38% of our kids are diabetic or pre-diabetic, and we are paying at both ends. We're paying for the food-like substances that make them diabetic, and then we're being bankrupt. We're spending $1 trillion a year on metabolic dysfunction.
That's crazy.
It's existential and it's not sustainable.
It's not
We have,
sustainable.
I visited Arizona, West Virginia, Utah, and Indiana in the last 2
This is a
weeks.
stupid
We've
route.
all
Why
applied
the
for
fuck did
SNAP
GPS
waivers.
tell
We're
them to go this way?
encouraging, thanks to Brooke Rollins' leadership, all of the states to
Going over
apply for
speed
those
bumps and
waivers.
shit.
I also visited Utah, which is the first state to ban supplemental fluoride. Florida yesterday passed a bill to ban supplemental fluoride.
Chicago's got, look at that. Camaro, I mean, Camaro, I like the blue Camaro.
Working, Lisa and I are working together to change the federal fluoride regulations, to change the recommendations, and we're looking at the science now.
I don't know how often these cars get hit here that are parked down the
National
street.
Toxicity Program, which was an arm of the NIH, and a meta review of all the science on fluoride and found that there's a direct inverse correlation between fluoride exposure and lower IQ in children. So the more you get, the stupider you are.
Oh, wow.
And we need smart kids in this country, and we need healthy kids. And thank you for your leadership. We're going to get there.
Yeah, thank you,
We're
Robert
doing
Kennedy,
our standards
former
now that
Democrat.
We're revamping them to get 10,000 ingredients that are in our food. Europeans only have 400 ingredients.
Hang on, I gotta
We have
plug the charger
10,000.
in. We're gonna pause
They're
this.
chemicals we know nothing.
Hang on, I gotta plug this. We'll be right back. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Alright, now where the speech left off at. Hang on. Shut the fuck up. I know my trunk's open. Stop beeping. I was picking up where I left off. Good. Convenient.
Craving a real change in how you feel?
No, not really. Why?
Your mental health. With prescription
the State Department last week. We hope it will lead now to a lasting, permanent peace that we hope to invite them back to Washington to sign. So two great, and we have a lot of good people working on our teams as well, but these are two great people. Waltz alluded to this earlier, and this is the last point. In the first 100 days of the 47th presidency, 47 wrongfully detained Americans have been returned to the United
Hey,
States.
47 with
Thanks to your
47.
leadership and the diplomacy that was exercised to make that
47.
47th president in the first 100 days.
45,
And that's
47.
what-
Hopefully he'll be 48
Thank you for
too.
the honor to be able to serve alongside you, for you, and alongside.
I'd
all
vote for him
of us.
for 48.
Well, thank you very much, Marco.
And I think most of America would vote for him
So,
being
you know, I've been
48.
involved in a lot of groups of people over the years, good groups, bad groups, all types of groups, but I have been involved in some incredible groups, but I've never been more proud and impressed, frankly. Impressed is maybe even more important, but I've never been more proud or impressed than I am with this group. This is an amazing group of people, and I hope some of those television cameras were blazing and it was on so people could watch this because, frankly, you know, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, this is an impressive group of people. I sat around being somewhat competitive. I said, well, let's see, who did the best job, who did the worst job? And I determined that everybody is like the same and there was no worst job. Everybody was outstanding. Everybody did a job. You couldn't pick a winner. The only thing you can say is nobody did a bad job or even a fair job. You're outstanding. And so I want to just congratulate you all. This is really something. And, you know, we have a job to do.
They got a racing
We've done
stripe
lot of
on their
work in
Hyundai for.
This 100 days. We've established things that are going to start taking place in the next 100 days. I want to see what it's going to be like. I think we're going to have to do this in 100 days, Susie, and we're going to see some very big results from
This speech
the
must
things
be
that
from
we've done.
last night.
I just want to thank everybody.
Because
This is
today's
really very
technically
impressive. I
101
hope
days.
The people at home got to see some of it. Nobody's ever done public cabinet meetings. They were quiet.
Why is there
for a
no
reason,
big
because
metal
we weren't
American
present.
flag like that anywhere in Chicago?
Especially in the last
Why?
administration. They weren't present. But I just want to say that we're very proud of you, and I am in particular. Thank you all very much. Great job, and I think we're going to have some
Illegals
tremendous
crossing the
success
street.
for our
No, I'm just
country.
playing.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a time to be asking questions. That was so impressive that to be taking questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be appropriate. I guess we probably have to take a couple because that was the purpose. But if you'd like to ask some, I think they should be very respectful questions at this point. This was an amazing meeting. And so if you'd like to ask a couple, if you'd like to pinpoint them to some of the secretaries, etc., would be fine. Yes.
You brought up El Salvador in your remarks. Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Fernando Garcia?
Why was he return him? He's a citizen of El
Well, I
Salvador.
would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the
That judge
President
is
of
in
the United
jail
States and the
now.
executive branch, not
We're
some
out on
judge.
bond.
So we will conduct foreign policy appropriately if we need to, but I'll never discuss it. And no one will ever make us discuss it because that's how foreign policy works.
Mr. President, you told ABC News, Mr. President, you told ABC News yesterday that you could get Fernando Garcia back if you wanted to. Do you think President Bukele would turn you down if you made an offer?
I really don't know. I know that he's been a great friend of our country. He's gotten a lot less money than this would take from us if we were going to build these jails and do what he's doing. And they run a very professional operation. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. I really leave that to the lawyers. And I take my advice from Pam and everybody that is very much involved. They know the laws and we follow the laws exactly. Yeah, please.
Transition, sir. You frequently took credit for the stock market highs. You said it.
They got two flags, the second one up here. This one's facing the other way. The blue part on the first one is on the left side, this one's on the right side. But why is there no giant American flag made out of metal anywhere in Chicago? There's not one fucking American flag that's like this, made out of metal, anywhere. Why?
Yeah, I'm not taking credit or discredit for the stock market. I'm just saying that we inherited a mess, both at the borders. You can
Yes,
look
you
at
did,
every
President
single
Trump.
one of the people here, and no matter who it is, they're doing better, and they are far superior to what took place for 4 years before us. When you look at prisoners being allowed to come into
Insane.
our country at
From
will,
Venezuela.
at will. People from mental institutions, gang members,
Venezuela.
drug dealers. When you look at
Or
that,
other
what
countries
they've
even.
done to our country, and also having to do with finance. Look at what happened with inflation. We had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I would say in the history of our country,
I
it
agree.
ate away at people. And even though you saw a stock market going up somewhat, because in my case, I had the biggest stock market increase, 88% in the last term, in my last term. But I don't view the stock market as the end all. It's an indicator. But what the stock market really tells you, and when you look at the stock market in this case, is it says how bad a situation we inherited. This is a quarter that we looked at today, and we took all of us together.
That 13, 18
came in on
buildings
January
new.
20th. So this is Biden, and you could even
So
say
this
the
building
next
on the
quarter
right.
is sort of Biden, because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis. But we're turning it around. It's a big ship to turn around, and we're going to have the greatest country financially in the history of the world, I believe. I think we're going to do things and we had to do it. We reset the table. Every single country, with just about, without exception. I'd have to really think hard for who hasn't taken advantage. And I don't even blame those countries. I blame the person that was sitting right where I am for allowing it to happen.
Joe
where
Biden.
Our country was ripped off on trade.
Yeah.
Hundreds of
That was
billions
because of Bill
dollars.
Clinton, though.
And now we're doing better.
And then
than
nobody
we've done
doing
in a
nothing
long time.
about
We
it
were
since Bill
losing
Clinton.
4 to 5 to even $6 billion a day on trade with
That's
Biden.
insane.
And now we have it down to a very manageable number, and the tariffs, for the most part, haven't even kicked in yet. So that's the way stock markets to me are an indication, but the big indication is what's happening, and the people around the table know what's happening.
I wonder how he picks when everyone starts yelling like that. I wonder how he picks who to ask the question to when everyone's yelling at once.
So there's some reports saying that, and if it's true, has the deal changed at all from the last time we heard about it?
Well, I'll ask Scott to answer the question because he's responsible for it.
Yeah, our side's
Oh,
ready
that cop's
to
going
sign.
chasing someone.
Ukrainians decided
Or he's
last
trying to
night
get the
make
Dunkin'
some
Donuts.
last-minute
I'm not
changes.
sure
We're-
which.
We're sure that they will reconsider
The
that.
fuck this guy
and we
got
are
on this
ready to
Impala? He
sign
got
this
fucking
afternoon.
ghost plate on there.
Can you talk about those last minute
Guarantee you,
changes?
fucking ain't no cameras getting that guy.
Nothing's been removed.
Guy
It's
in
the
front of me.
same agreement that we agreed
I
to.
should
on
get
the
one of
weekend.
those.
No
Or if those
changes
are
on
illegal.
our side.
Just to put that in perspective, then, when I came here,
Yeah, I really don't think a camera could see that guy's license plate.
the real number is about $350 billion.
I need me one of those. Where the fuck you
So
got that
big.
from?
And
Those red
we
light
had no
cameras, they
security,
hit
we
me
had
up.
nothing. We were just pouring money there, unsecured money, putting it in banks, and anybody could have taken it out. Anybody over there, it was their decision. I've never seen anything like it. Europe, on the other hand, which
You
is
would be cool.
obviously
See
the
how
whole
that guy has that
situation is much
plate
more
thing?
important to Europe because
If he
the
made it like
version of the
robotic,
plane.
like
But
where it
Europe,
was a
they
screen
had
that
about
came
$100
down,
billion.
and then
It's a
it
lot
could
of money.
screen that could roll back up.
Sacrifice they made also.
But it looks
But they gave
slightly
much
clear like
money.
that, so like
And their
it doesn't
money
look
is
like you're
secured,
completely
totally
trying to
secured.
black out your
The
shit.
deposits in banks. The deposits are largely Russian.
Like I can see his shit with my eyes,
That's
but
what you
I don't know
have.
at
Their
night.
money is secured, so they gave.
I don't think a
$100
camera
billion
would get him
secured.
right now for
We
sure.
gave money like it's thrown
I don't know
out the
about at
window.
night when he's got his
And
headlights on and his
It was
license plate
done
lights
by
on.
Biden, and this is Biden's war. This isn't Trump's war. I'm trying to get out, and more than the money, they're losing about 5,000 young Russian and Ukrainian soldiers.
I mean, technically, it's not
There's some
completely
people
blocking
lost
out its plate,
being
so
killed in
I mean, he probably
towns
gets
and
by with it
missiles
pretty
have not
often,
been
I would say.
Shot, small cities and towns. But we are trying to save the lives of about 5,000 young, mostly soldiers, that are losing
I
their
guarantee you,
lives.
buddy, he's
I
paying
see,
attention 100% of the time
satellite
he drives. He's
photos.
like, ain't no cop getting behind me.
And I see
I mean, you can still see his
photos
shit.
every week of
He'd
fields
probably give
with
you,
arms and
if he
heads
did get
and
pulled over for
legs
whatever, he'd probably get a
scattered
ticket
all
for
over.
like
It's a violent,
obstruction of
horrible
plate, maybe.
situation.
I don't know. Maybe
And
not.
More
Maybe
important than the
wrong.
money, I want to say.
I mean, you should be able. His plate's still visible. You should be able to put something like that on your plate. Personally, I believe you should.
But I said,
I don't know if that's true. If you
What are
can.
we doing? How did we get into this war? It would have never happened if I were president. Everybody knows, and it didn't happen for 4 years. Wasn't even thought of. I discussed it with President Putin a lot because it was the apple of his eye. There was no way he was going to do it. Zero chance. And I said, we feel foolish. The Europeans are putting up money. It's totally secure. They get the money back. We're putting up much more money. We have absolutely nothing. And I didn't want to make a complicated deal. I didn't want to make a deal that couldn't be made because Ukraine doesn't have very much money. They're going through a very bad period of time. It's been brutal. But I felt very foolish being in charge. So I said, well, we want something for our efforts beyond what you would think would be acceptable. and we said rare earth. They're very good rare
Hey,
earth. As you know,
Ukraine,
we're
we need
looking
your
for
rare
all
earth
the
for all
time.
that money we gave
Rare
you.
earth is called rare for a reason, and they have a lot.
It's rare, that's
and we
why.
made a deal.
Ukraine's got a lot of that
we
rare
secure,
earth. I wonder what type of minerals and
start
rock
digging
forms
and
rare
doing what
earth
we have to
consists
do.
of. Let's look it
It's
up.
also good for them because you'll have an American presence at the site, Chris.
That
And
sounds
the
good.
American presence will
Imagine using your skills and experiences.
What is considered rare earth materials? Let's see if it's still on. What is considered rare earth materials? Make sure you like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. What is considered rare earth materials? Saturnium, something, well, titanium. Oh, they got titanium. I don't know. I gotta see I wonder what type of rare earth minerals Ukraine has in particular. We'll figure that out next time. I like to get shit thumbs up here. The next time we'll figure out what rare earth materials Ukraine has in stock. We're gonna figure that out next.